Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Now, in my last video, I talked about the movie The Alien Factor from 1978, which was made by Don Dohler. It was a movie in which an alien spacecraft crash lands on Earth and then aliens start going around killing people. Well, in 1982, Don made a movie called Nightbeast, in which an alien spacecraft crash lands and an alien starts going around killing people. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, Nightbeast features a lot of the same actors reprising their roles from the Alien Factor. One of the characters even died in that movie. Richard Dysel played Mayor Burt Wicker in the Alien Factor. He's killed by an alien late in the movie, but in Nightbeast, he just appears, alive and well. And beyond that, the movie also takes place in the same town. And I guess that's what I find so weird about this whole thing. It's not a sequel. At no point do any of the characters say anything like, "Oh, hey, an alien running around killing people? Again?" No, clearly the events of the Alien Factor never happened as far as this movie is concerned. And if this is an attempt to take the Alien Factor, change some things, and go at it again with a bigger budget, okay, fine. But then why not just at least change the names of the characters to make it just a bit less confusing? Now, you may notice the name Jeffrey Abrams in the opening credits. This is actually director J.J. Abrams. He worked on this film when he was 16, producing the score. And from my understanding, even though J.J. Abrams lived in Los Angeles, the way he worked on this movie was through the mail. He would mail tapes of the score to Don in Baltimore, where the movie was being shot. The movie starts similar to the start of the Alien Factor, with a spaceship crashing down to Earth.
What the hell was that?
And see, this is the type of thing that could really spice up a camping trip. For me, I'm serious, because the ship starts exploding, which means that you would probably have to start packing up and getting the hell out of there. Which again, I know this might just be me, but when I go camping, I'm looking for any excuse to leave at around midnight. I just don't want to spend all night in the woods because, yeah, there's a lot of fun things about camping. You go, you start a campfire, you roast marshmallows, you talk, whatever, that's fun. But it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, now I would like my bed in my house, thank you. I know that probably makes me sound really unfun, but I'm fun in other ways. I promise. I have friends. I just don't see them all the time. Because, they're busy. People are busy. Can't get together all the time. So the three campers go and check out the crash, but an alien wearing what looks like very stylish pajamas pops out and vaporizes all of them. So this guy goes to the sheriff and he's like, "Hey, you gotta check it out. There's a fireball in the sky." And the sheriff really doesn't want to do it, but he's like, "Fine, I'll take a look." But then he checks it out and he's like, "God damn it, there's no fireball in the sky. It's on the ground. You got me to get out of my chair for this? I should arrest you for wasting my time. I'm busy, I gotta, do my reports." Meanwhile, a man is taking his two nephews on a typical midnight drive through the woods when he decides to pull over to relieve himself. And I'm sure you can guess what happens. The alien brutally murders Uncle Dave and, wait, what year was this movie made? 1982. Okay, yeah, so the kids are gonna get killed. And yep, totally vaporized. Apparently, this laser gun can disintegrate anything. Well, almost anything. I mean, it has no problem handling human flesh and even entire vehicles with a single blast, but rocks seem to be a different story. And with this in mind, I really have to question the intelligence of these characters. I mean, you've seen that the alien laser has no effect on stone, so why aren't you putting all your time into developing stone armor to help you fight this thing? Doesn't seem that complicated. It's not like rocks are that hard to come by. You just go outside, there's rocks everywhere. Start picking them up. But no, they're gonna spend their time drinking coffee, mourning the dead, asking the mayor for help. And the mayor doesn't want to help. He's too busy planning a party.
You don't understand, Jack. I've got this party for Governor Embry here this afternoon, remember?
Yeah, Jack, what the hell is wrong with you? Socializing comes before safety. Everybody knows that. Everybody cool, at least. Last time it was the entertainment complex. This time it's my party. These aliens keep getting in the way of my fun. So go and get rid of them once and for all. I mean, come on, what is it that you even do all day? So Jack is like, you gotta cancel this party. I want this town evacuated. And the mayor is like, I can't stop it even if I wanted to. The governor is already on his way. You can't stop the governor. No one can. That's why he's the governor. So Jack takes Steve to go check out one of the dead bodies. And Steve is like, what the hell, Jack? How the f*** am I supposed to do an autopsy on this? A pile of ash? Well, fine. Cause of death? They burned. Happy? Anyways, this biker guy, Drago, shows up. And this is actually pretty funny because the way this scene plays out, it's like this guy is the neighborhood bully to the sheriff.
Hey, Cinder, what brings you way out here away from your cozy little office?
It's none of your business. It's important sheriff stuff that you wouldn't know anything about. So, shut up.
What about it, Cinder? You gonna take me off my bike?
I would, but I don't wanna, because then I'd have to get close to you. And, you know, getting close to you is like getting close to a bag of farts. Yeah, everybody says that.
You know what I say, Sheriff? Go to hell.
Yeah, I will. Right after I go to your mom's house. Oh, wait, I can't do that. Ever since she moved out of town, because her and your dad split up. That wasn't too much, right? Like, that wasn't too mean, me talking about his parents splitting up. I mean, he was being a real jerk. He's always a jerk. My parents say that I should just ignore him, but I've been ignoring him for the past 35 years, and I'm not gonna do it anymore. Plus, he started it. He's not gonna tell, right? You don't think he's gonna tell? So the governor arrives, and this is what life and politics is all about, which is why I could never be a politician. I don't want to have to keep putting on sunscreen all day, every day. So the mayor introduces Mary Jane Carter to the governor as his secretary? Seriously, mayor? Look at everything that Mary Jane had to go through in the Alien Factor. Hasn't she had enough encounters with disgusting creatures? Okay, so I gotta talk about this scene where Steve and Ruth go into the basement to hide from the alien. And I wanted to mention this because sometimes when you're working with a low budget, you gotta come up with creative ways to show things without actually showing them. In this scene, the alien eventually breaks through the door and makes his way downstairs. So, to shoot this scene without actually having to break the door, they just show the hand coming in contact with the door, and then it just cuts to pieces of cheap wood falling down the stairs. And you know what? It gets the point across. It conveys to the audience what it needs to. The only thing I'll point out is that a lot of these pieces were way too perfectly cut to give off the impression that they were pieces from a broken door. Anyways, the alien comes downstairs, and I don't know how big this basement is, but Steve is able to walk over to the dryer, rip the electrical cord out of it. Again, the alien doesn't seem to hear any of this. Then he even has enough time to fill up a bucket with water and pour it on the ground 3 times before the alien makes it back. Anyways, he does this to electrocute the alien, which kind of works, but the alien just runs away and continues killing people one by one, and that's pretty much the movie. The alien killing people and the characters trying to figure out a way to stop it. And you know what? There's all these movies where aliens come to our planet and just start killing people, and I think it's bullshit. I mean, what the hell is your problem? It's not our fault that you suck at driving, and it's definitely not our fault that you don't have adequate dental care on your planet. Maybe if you came here looking to make friends, things would go better for you. Yeah, now that I think about it, I kind of understand why the alien started killing people from the get-go. Because if he would have surrendered, we would have started running all these tests on him and poking and prodding. I mean, just look what happened to E.T. And what did he do to deserve all that? Ate some candy? Played a little dress up? Made a friend? Yeah. Now, when Don finished The Alien Factor, it ended up getting a TV syndication deal, because at the time, TV networks were looking for sci-fi movies to play due to the popularity at the time, which in the end made it a successful movie. But by the time Don wanted to do Nightbeast, the TV market just wasn't really there anymore. So when Don met with Troma Films, they told him he needed to start making movies with more gore and nudity so that they would sell in the video market. So Don did that, even though I get the impression that he didn't really want to, which is why Nightbeast is a much gorier movie than The Alien Factor and features a sex scene that is very awkward and feels totally out of place. Apparently, the budget for Nightbeast was $14,000, which even though is very low budget, is still an improvement from the Alien Factor's $3,500. The special effects are better in this movie, but as I mentioned in my last video, I think the story was lacking when compared to the Alien Factor. The Galaxy Invader came out 3 years after Nightbeast, and once again, it features some of the same actors, but they are playing different characters this time. The movie starts just as you would expect, with an alien spacecraft falling down to Earth and landing in the woods. Anyways, this guy named David sees it, and the first person he calls is his former teacher, Dr. Tracy, because he's just gotta come check this out.
Where are you at? Where did this happen?
Right outside of Harleyville, the town I live in.
Yeah, that's about 5 hours from here.
I have some friends that are teachers, and the one thing they always tell me is they always say, you know, I wish more of my former students would call me at the crack of dawn to talk about a UFO that they saw in a town 5 hours away. So Dr. Tracy is like, holy crap, a UFO? Okay, I'm gonna make a few calls and then I'll head out. So I'll be there in about 6 hours. Don't move. Now this is a young man who is clearly dedicated to UFO research. I mean, he's gonna sit there for 6 hours waiting for his teacher to arrive so that he can, I don't know, point to where he saw a fireball in the sky. You know, maybe if we had more people like David, we would know more collectively as a society about aliens and UFOs, but no! The vast majority of people, like you, just want to sit on their couch browsing their phone or go to work or just carry on living their life as if it's so important. You may think that making money and eating and surviving every day is important, but you're never gonna know more about UFOs, and that's just that. Okay, so now there's this family, and we have the parents, Joe, Ethel, and the kids, Annie, her sister Carol, and her brother JJ. And I don't know, Joe really likes to drink and wave the shotgun around, so there's an argument, and Joe goes chasing Carol into the woods, saying he's gonna blow her head off. And the alien is watching the whole thing like, holy shit, this is pretty dysfunctional. Joe sees the alien and shoots it. This ball falls out of its space harness, and Joe is really excited because it's not every day you get a free ball.
Pa, what is that thing? And what kind of man was that? Don't think it was any kind of man, JJ. But it don't matter. This thing here could be worth a lot of money.
Yes, there's no time to be concerned with the alien creature walking around the woods near our house. This ball might be valuable, which means we could sell it. And then I might be able to buy a shirt with no holes in it. Meanwhile, Dr. Tracy finally shows up and he's like, hey, David, you didn't tell anyone about the UFO, did you? And David's like, of course not. I've been standing here waiting for 6 hours. Did you bring any food at least? I need to eat. I feel weak. And Dr. Tracy is like, no, we're losing daylight. We gotta go check out that UFO. Anyways, now this guy named Frank Custer shows up. I guess he's Joe's friend. And he's like, yeah, this ball is cool, but Joe, this green alien man you're talking about, that's where the money is.
I know certain parties in the city that would pay big bucks if we could get to this thing before the government boys do.
Yes, certain groups of people with millions of dollars to spend on aliens. They're out there. You just have to be super connected and really cool. See, we've all heard of these secret societies, and we all wonder, you know, what are they doing? Is it crime? Is it super secret sex parties? No, it's just a bunch of rich people looking to buy aliens. And then what? Do they want to have super secret sex parties with the aliens? I don't know. I've never been invited. Not that I would go. Joe tells JJ to go lock up the ball, but the alien is there to tase him with some kind of space stick and take his ball back. So Joe gets some guys together to form a gang to go out and capture the alien at night, because that's totally the best time to go looking for a green alien in the woods. Anyways, there's a big firefight and the alien takes out a bunch of these guys until they figure out its secret weakness: rope. So Frank is like, don't worry about all the guys who just got killed. We'll come back and bury them later because, I don't know, I guess they didn't have families. Of course, Dr. Tracy and David are there watching the whole thing. And Dr. Tracy is like, we gotta follow them and see where they take the alien. And David is like, Dr. Tracy, I feel like if I don't eat something soon, I'm gonna pass out. I didn't even get to take a sip of that Diet Pepsi back at the bar. So they take the alien back to Joe's house and chain it up in the garage. And then they realize that the ball powers the laser gun. Ethel isn't too thrilled with this whole situation. You know, people getting killed, locking an alien in the garage and then messing around with its weapons. And Joe's like, look, I'm not crazy. I'm pretty well oiled, but I'm not crazy. This whole situation is going to make us a lot of money in the end. Think about how many people throughout history have gotten rich off of kidnapping an alien. None. We'll be the first, which means we're like pioneers. And who doesn't want to be a pioneer? The pioneers had a lot of money, right? So now it's the next day, and Dr. Tracy and David are still waiting out near Joe's garage. And I guess they waited until morning so that they could work under a cover of daylight. Dr. Tracy is like, all right, let's break into that garage. I always keep a lockpick on me just in case I have to, well, never mind. Just keep a lookout. And David is like, okay, but you know, when I called you, I wasn't planning on making this my entire weekend. I haven't been home in over 24 hours. My parents are probably asking the police how long until they can file a missing persons report. Anyways, they get into the garage and find the alien tied up on the ground. And what would you do in this situation? Go run and tell the authorities? That's probably the worst thing you could do, because then you might get charged with breaking and entering, trespassing, and being totally lame. No, you see the alien creature you recently witnessed killing multiple people? Yeah, it's tied up. You untie it. Doing something nice. It's the only way you're gonna make friends. And that's pretty much what happens. They open the door and run away. The rest of the movie is kind of a back and forth over who has the alien laser gun. The alien gets the gun. Frank shoots Dr. Tracy. The alien shoots Frank. Joe shoots the alien, gets the gun back. Then Carol finds David and starts begging him to stay and help them.
David, you've got to come with me. I'm supposed to meet Michael, and I know he can help us.
I don't know. I don't feel too good.
Look, I know what you've been through, and I understand how you feel, but we need help.
Okay, if I'm David, I am running and never looking back. Screw this. This guy saw a meteor in the sky and decided to tell his teacher about it. I'm sure if he knew at the time that that was going to lead to him getting shot at after a sleepless night of chasing down an alien on an empty stomach, he wouldn't have picked up that payphone in the first place. And all because he was out driving at the crack of dawn. See, if it's me, I am never getting up early ever again. I am sleeping in for the rest of my life. I mean, I kinda already do that, but at least now I have a good reason. Anyways, they get the gun back because Joe gets so drunk that he passes out, and they slowly slide it out of his hands. But when he wakes up later, he's all pissed, and we get this awkward fight scene.
Carol! She ain't here! She took it! I'll kill her! Joe, no! Joe! No, Haley! Damn you, Stop it, Pa!
So they let him go because they don't want to risk tearing his shirt even more. Then he goes out with the shotgun and gets them to give up the laser gun, which he then uses to kill the alien, which kinda sucks. But in the end, his wife hits him with the shotgun, and that makes him go flying off a cliff, and yeah, that's the end of the movie. Now, quite honestly, I think that the Galaxy Invader is the worst out of these three movies. From a technical standpoint, Nightbeast is clearly the best, but as I mentioned in my last video, I prefer the alien factor out of all of them. There's a couple reasons for this. The first is that I enjoyed the plot of the alien factor. I thought it was pretty creative. The idea of this ship carrying all these different aliens as zoological specimens crashing down to Earth, and then this other alien coming to intervene and clean up the mess and disguising himself as a human being. The other is that the alien factor was Dawn's first movie, and even though it's super low budget, there's a certain charm to it that I really enjoy, and it was clearly the movie that Dawn really wanted to make. There's a documentary about Dawn where he talks about on his 30th birthday, the office that he worked in got robbed, and he ended up with a gun to the back of his head, not knowing if he was gonna die right then and there. And after that, he realized, hey, life is short. This could all end at any minute, and there's a lot of stuff I still want to do. One of those things being this movie he had been thinking about making, and that experience motivated him to just go out and do it. And I really appreciate that, because that right there is the spirit of filmmaking to me. You know, just going out there and figuring out how to tell the story that you want to tell. It may not be perfect, but that's kind of part of what makes it special. I want to thank all of my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and my YouTube channel members. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, but that's pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you all next time. Next time I should just shoot him and say it was in self-defense. Actually, I probably shouldn't have said that. Just pretend you didn't hear that. Otherwise, I'll shoot you too. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. A lot of the scenes in his movies were shot either just outside of his house, inside of his house, or in the woods near his house, which is true low-budget filmmaking, and I am here for it because, you know, you work with what you got, and what you got is your home where you live and the area around your home, so why not? If it works, it works. I have had to do that more times than I can count, because what it is a free location. You don't have to pay to be there, and you can control the elements to a degree. I'm fun in other ways. I promise. I got the new Costco magazine in the mail, and it's fun to look through that and see, you know, what's new. My softball team had our first preseason game last week. That was, well, it was gonna be fun. It got rained out. I got my tax return in the mail. Now that's fun. It's money, and I put it in the bank, so didn't spend it on anything. But it will be something fun when I do.